Hey everyone and welcome to Protocol 36. And now that the Thor Love and Thunder trailer was finally dropped on Monday, showing us what the movie will look like, the Guardians, brand new look at New Asgard, and Jane Foster's Mighty Thor. Of course this is a teaser trailer by Marvel, so it's safe to assume that they're hiding a bunch of stuff like Gore the God Butcher and possibly other characters we don't even know about. So in this video we'll be talking about whether or not the fan favorite character Beta Ray Bill will appear in Thor Love and Thunder, and what role he could possibly play in the film. But before we get started, if at any point you enjoyed this video, I really appreciate if you could drop a like, as that would really help out the channel. Thank you. Now let's dive in. Beta Ray Bill, as some of you may know, is a very popular and important character in Marvel Comics, so much so that he was one of the first people to lift Mjolnir outside of the people of Asgard, which even shocked Thor himself, showing that he was in fact worthy, and was even given his version of the hammer called Stormbreaker, which we know Thor has a version of in the MCU. And we know he exists in the MCU because his statue appears in Thor Ragnarok, and almost appeared in that movie too, but it was cut due to Kevin Feige believing that introducing him the way that they almost did wouldn't have done him justice, so they thought to save him when the time is right, where they're able to properly adapt the character. However, we did get a glimpse of his people, the Corbinites, in Avengers Endgame, which are the alien species we see 2014 Nebula and 2014 Gamora fighting against, showing that Corbin was in fact one of the planets Thanos invaded. So clearly Marvel are still thinking about the character and wants to introduce him sooner or later. And in the Love and Thunder trailer, there is a shot that looks like someone has been CGI'd out, and now it could be anyone next to Thor in that moment. Heck, it could even be Jane herself. Even though she does show up at the end of the trailer, Marvel did do a similar trick in Captain America Civil War, where they CGI'd Spider-Man out of the scene where Team Iron Man and Team Cap were running towards each other. But obviously at the end of that same trailer, they showed him anyway. So I do ultimately agree with what a lot of people are theorizing, which is that it might be Beta Ray Bill himself. However, even if it's not him, they're clearly hiding someone important, who either hasn't been confirmed yet, or the CGI hasn't been done yet. And in the MCU, Bill could have actually battled Gore in the past, and could be used as the third version of Thor to help fight Gore, given his experience, along with Thor himself and Jane Foster. As well as I can see Thor not only giving Beta Ray Bill Stormbreaker for him to use, but I can also see him absorbing All Black the Necrosword, like he does at the end of the Thor God of Thunder comic, and using it to defeat Gore, which would be absolutely epic. However, there is a chance that he might not be in the movie, which is understandable since the movie looks like it's going to be doing quite a lot, like reintroducing Jane Foster in the MCU, having her be Mighty Thor, exploring her and Thor's past relationship, at least according to the set photos. We'll probably dive into her having cancer in the MCU like she did in the comics, which was very important in her story when she became Thor, Valkyrie becoming queen or king of Asgard and having her own queen, as well as dealing with the political side of things, Zeus as well as the rest of the Greek pantheon, so we might even see characters like Ares or Hercules, who are pretty important in Marvel Comics. The Guardians of the Galaxy being in the movie, though I don't think they will be in it for very long, and will probably leave earlier in the story, as well as dealing with Gore as Thor's biggest villain yet, hopefully exploring and adapting his origin story, and why he's targeting any immortal who calls themselves a god, who will be played by Christian Bale. So yeah, adding Beta Ray Bill may be a bit much, especially if he's not going to have a place in the story. However, I do think there are ways to make him fit into it, and may even be the most important character who will push the plot forward. And if we're going to see him in the movie, we might even see new Corbin in the MCU after Thanos invaded his original planet, especially now that we do know that Lady Sif will be in the movie, and they could have her be the one introduce Bill, and say while she was gone she was helping him and his people out, as they were close in the comics. But if he's not going to be in Thor Love and Thunder, then to be honest I wouldn't really be surprised. However, what about you guys? Do you think Beta Ray Bill will appear in Thor Love and Thunder? If so, if not, let me know in the comments down below. I would love to hear your thoughts. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Twitter. If you enjoyed this video, please like, and want more, subscribe. To begin, Protocol 36.